All right, so some of you guys may or may not have been able to keep up with listening to the book or doing the workbook. It doesn't matter. You're going to glean things from this, and maybe you can go back and listen or go back and do this study again when you have more time. But what we are going to talk about today is going to be really big for some of you, and then some of you might not relate to it very much. But here's the best part. When you have people join you and you know about this struggle, you might be able to identify it in someone. So maybe you don't struggle with it, but you'll be able to identify it. Now, I can relate to this so much. So here we have this guy, Dan, and Dan's big concern was that he basically was just wasting his life away, not actually pursuing things that he really wanted to pursue. He just kind of felt like he was doing his 9 to 5 and time was running out. Like he felt like he wasn't going to get to accomplish these big dreams of his. And so what I love about Mel Robbins is she's basically saying, and this is so true, he is thinking too big, which almost makes you think, what? I thought I'm supposed to dream big. Well, yeah, dream big. But she says, think small. And you're like, is this right? Is this what we've been taught? Well, let's break it down. Anyone here ever had a weight loss goal? Anybody? Oh, really? Just me? Okay, great. And you spend sometimes months, sometimes years thinking about the goal. You're like, I think I'm going to start that, but you know what? I'm going to start it after the holidays because, and then the new year comes and you're like, oh my gosh, we're moving. So I'm going to start that in the summer. You think and you think and you think, and it actually becomes a stress to your body. So when you start to think about something that you need or want to do, your body knows it before you even realize it. Your body knows the tension that you're feeling. So for Dan, he felt the tension kind of like right here in the center of his chest. I have the same thing. What do you guys have when you physically react to something? Like you're like, I need to fill in the blank, whatever it is. I need to do this. What do you feel like in your body? Where do you feel stress? Unmute yourself if you want to share.
I feel nausea in my stomach.
Barb, you have to say it again because I had my headphone plugged in. I'm like, why don't I hear her? And then I realized. Go ahead, say it again.
I feel nausea in my stomach.
Okay. So, so good, Barb, because for years, I would buy pregnancy tests like it was going out of style because I had this nausea, always had nausea. It was anxiety. I didn't know it. And so many times we compartmentalize, like this is my brain, this is my heart, and then this is my body. That's not how it works. So when you feel fear, and you know the acronym, false evidence appearing real, or forget everything and run, whichever one you want to use. When you feel fear, your body reacts in one way. Here we go. Remember we talked about fight or flight last week? When your body feels stressed, it doesn't know if you're being chased by a cougar or if you're just worried about making a phone call. Like your body doesn't know. So the reaction to stress is this. All of your blood rushes to your brain and to your heart because those are your vital organs. So all your blood rushes here, and your blood is not really going and innervating into your intestinal tract, your stomach. So what happens when you feel stress? You either have diarrhea or constipation. There's so many things that happen to you when you live in this low-lying fear place, which I'd love to ask Dan that. I'm sure that's not very tactful, but I'd love to ask him how his battles were during that season of his life. Because honestly, we have these physical symptoms that we think are health issues, but they're really mind issues. So I wrote down a couple of things. Number one, you guys are wanting to work towards this big goal. And it might even seem like this mysterious out there financial freedom, retirement for my husband, whatever it is, this big thing. Well, no wonder that feels like a mountain. It's huge. It's just this big end goal. We have to change it from mountains to lily pads. If we operated with lily pads, getting us to closer and closer and closer to our end goal, then maybe it wouldn't feel so overwhelming. So I love what she talked about with him was You want to open a wine store, but really what you want to do is just grow and learn. So what if you had a call every week with someone that's an expert in wine? It would be filling that void for you and moving you one step closer to your goal. Some of us want to move at lightning speed to the top of the company, and that's a mountain. Let's just go ahead and just do one step at a time. The other thing that I wrote down was that she was talking about Legos as the analogy and just building it piece by piece by piece. And I had the craziest epiphany ever. We'll go through this in the workbook here in a second. I don't want to do all the talking, but I like to just set us up for what we're talking about. I had this crazy epiphany, and it said basically what things make you feel calm. And then I think the other question was what things make you feel stressed. And what made me feel calm, which is so weird, is exercise. And I thought, but not in the sense that exercising kind of helps your mood. I don't mean that. I knew when I got into exercising 3 or 4 months ago with a trainer, I knew this was going to be a long process. I knew it. I knew I wasn't going to lose however much 5 pounds that I wanted to lose in a month. I knew that. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to lift the heaviest barbell right away. And I accepted it, and I'm okay with it. So I knew this was going to be a process. I know maybe a year from now will be when I can finally lift the weight that I'm wanting to lift. I've accepted the lily pads of my exercise journey, and I feel calm about it. But when we want something to happen today, right now, I want this. This is what I want. We are making it a mountain, and that mountain is crushing to us. We are overthinking. We just think, instead of do. Small action will cure every bit of anxiety, whatever that action may be for you. And it could be that you think, I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do to be building my business. That could be an anxiety causer for you. So let's go ahead and get started with this workbook. And I really want you guys to feel comfortable to pipe in, tell me what you're learning, tell me what you wrote down, and I'll tell you why. We will all learn so much more if we hear from each other. I've had moments where someone says something and I go, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. And we need to be able to remove the veil, go ahead and just put it out there and be raw and real, because all of us will be better for it. So let's go ahead and start on page 3. Where in your life do you feel driven by a nervous, frantic energy? So being busy makes us feel like we're accomplishing something. And I know this feeling. I feel like if I fill my schedule completely full, I have an excuse for not getting things done. I'm like, well, I had this and I had this and I had this. But busyness is the false illusion that we're actually accomplishing something. So listen to this. Brenda and Delvin Martin, they made a decision that they wanted to be diamonds in the company. And after that decision, now you know they have 11 kids, right? After that decision, they made a commitment that anything that came their way that did not line up with their goal, did not help them get to their goal, they would say no to. Not no forever, but no for that season. So if their kids wanted to do something, and I'm telling you, gut wrench, I'm like, let them ride the horses or whatever it is they want to do. But think about what that does to you, the busyness of life, whatever doesn't fit into that goal that you personally have, plexus or not, you say no to until you reach that goal, because that accomplishment will be huge for you. You'll have the time then. I think that's a beautiful way to do. Whatever doesn't fit in alignment with your goal, say no to until the time is right. So who wants to share where in your life you feel driven by a nervous, frantic energy? Just unmute yourself. You know I'll start picking people, right?
I don't mind sharing.
Tell me everything.
Sure. Actually, right now, lots of things do. But anything that I know intellectually will move me forward. So, like, I've got this complete shutdown when it comes to messaging people right now. And literally, I can open up Facebook or even think about opening up Messenger on my phone, and I'll start to get like that panicky anxiety right now. And there's a whole lot that goes into why this is happening right now. But it also happens with other areas of my life. So putting our homeschool in order and getting ready for a new year, the fact that 3 of my boys are going to be playing sports, which is blowing my mind. just setting my home in order and getting those things. Like, it's not like I can't do it. I'm perfectly capable, but it's just that overthinking. And the more I think about it, the more anxious I get. And so those areas that are so simple, they're making me feel that frantic energy. And then when I do actually get into action, then it is all that frantic, panicky energy rather than that steady, just going to do what needs to be done and move forward, that peaceful, calm energy.
You and I could be twins, literally.
Yeah. I get totally, like, this whole chapter, just listening to it, I was like, that's me. I'm overthinking everything. And it's why I'm dealing with the anxiety, and why, I feel like it's part of why I have some physical things that are real physical issues that are triggering, like depression and things. But I think it's worsened and heightened right now because of this overthinking, that trap that I'm in.
And here's the thing, a couple things. One, I believe you that you have depression, but I also question, because for me, I was like, I think I have depression. And then when I figured out what it actually was, it really wasn't that for me. So that's something to kind of delve into or investigate for you. But the other question is it because you're looking at everything as a mountain? That's a question. And the other one is, what happens? Are you wanting to be perfect? Is it the perfectionism issue? Are you having procrastination? Is it self-sabotage? Is it fear of success? Is it fear of
Yes. All of it.
You're like this. Check, 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 check.
Exactly. I mean, because there's a portion of that, all of that in it. Because I have, like, my husband is 120% on board with me and Plexus and behind me and believing in me. I have an upline that believes in me, an upline, an upline, an upline. I mean, there are, all of these voices in my life that tell me, yes, you can. Like, why are you doubting yourself? But the voice in my head is drowning all that out. And so I know that it's mindset, and I know that whatever is physically triggered is only worsened by the mindset. And so the physical triggers would not be so difficult if it was not the mindset, the fear, all of that.
So what?
Yes, there may be, there's some actual physical things like the depression stuff, but it's not, that's not the main thing. That's not the worst thing, if that makes sense. Like, it's there, but it's all this other stuff going on in my head that has made it this massive thing.
Yeah, and you're fighting yourself to death or into paralyzation. But here's the thing. This is crazy. Just hear me out. You've got your husband that says you can do it. You've got 3 or 4 uplines that say you can do it. It actually makes it worse on you, because you're like, everybody thinks I can do it, but I don't. So I'm going to let all of these people down that tell me I can do it. I mean, that is some scary business right there. That's scary. And
yep, that's exactly it.
It's not wanting to let anybody down, especially if you're a people pleaser. But nobody expects perfection from other people. Nobody does. We just do that to ourselves. Like, I'm happy for my kids. If I say clean your room, I know it's not going to be like this perfect job, but I'm grateful they did it, and I'm going to live with it. I'm glad you did it. So let's go ahead and keep on moving to the next question, unless anyone else wants to share about something that causes them to feel a nervous, frantic energy. Your kids' schedules. I wrote down IPA, like messaging. I want to not do it because I think, how am I going to keep it all straight? How am I going to know who to get back to when and where? Or if I message, I'm going to have to respond when they respond. Like, do I really want to do that? It's like all of these things. So who else wants to share that causes a nervous, frantic energy?
So kind of along that lines, after you've messaged somebody and you anticipate them answering back, whether it's a text or a, whatever messenger you're using. And I literally, when I see it pops up that it's waiting, they've responded, my gut just like, I'm afraid to open it. I will put off opening it because I'm afraid of what they're going to say. I mean, I freak out. I put the worst scenarios in my head, like they were going to unfriend me. We're not going to be friends anymore, whatever. And then when I open it, even if it is a no, it's usually very polite and they thank me for thinking of them. But I don't like to open them, and I should be eager to open it. I should be going, yes, they responded, yay. But that just gets me in my gut where I'm just like, I'm terrified to open the message.
Okay, so do you follow Bob Heilig, or have you done any of his challenges?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he calls those red light stories. And what you have to do is rewrite that. One, let me say this. I have had people unfriend me, and I have had people respond negatively to me. And I don't enjoy it. But guess what? I still lived. My husband still loved me. My kids didn't disown me. I didn't foreclose on my house. Like all the things you could be afraid of, everything was okay. Just kept going. And here's the best part. Those people have all come back and apologized.
Oh.
Because people don't like what they don't understand. They also, and this is just human, you get a little bit jealous when you see somebody enjoying their life, pursuing a passion, really trying to make a difference. It just makes them feel like, you know, when you see somebody on the beach with all their kids and everybody looks great, she's in her bikini, you're like, and you want to scroll right past it. You're like, go on vacation and wear that bikini. Like, we have a hard time celebrating other people. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, that was great. So let's keep moving on. All right, where in your life do you feel calm and grounded? And I shared with you exercise because I realized I understand it's bite-sized pieces. My marriage, the same thing. I understand that it will take a lifetime of learning each other and understanding each other. I don't expect to know him 100% overnight. Like, I'm still 18 years in, like waking up going, what? Like, he told me the other day he has a lazy eye. I'm like, okay, what? Back it up. You have a lazy eye? I've had children with you and I didn't know this. So I get it. I get we're going to slowly like peel back the layers. So tell me what gives you calm, what makes you feel grounded.
Okay, can I jump back in? I just talked, but so I feel very calm and grounded when I have things in more of an organized state. So if my kitchen is clean, if my sink is empty, if my desk in my office is in order, when things around me are in disarray, I feel like I'm in disarray inside myself. Does that make sense? So I have more of a peace and calm when I feel like things around me are in order. Then I feel like I can be more productive. But on the other note of that, if that's not done, then I feel like I have to do all that first before I can get everything else done in business.
Okay. So we'll get to this, the if-then statement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
really
helpful for you with this. Like, if my desk is messy, I will go sit on the couch to send my messages. Something that's going to allow you to keep staying in action and not let something stop you.
Right.
Because there's a million things that are going to stop each one of us. It could be something serious or it could be something small. But when we let excuses take over, it is so defeating to us. It is so defeating. I could have done better if I hadn't had to clean my desk. Like, it just sounds crazy, right? It really kind of does. My husband's the same way. He needs everything in order. He needs everything. The bed has to be made every day. Everything in order. It makes him feel calm. And I respect that. That's a personality trait. But if I tell him today we have to get these things, he will let himself let that go. And I can see it affects him. But he knows there's a goal to be met. So as we work through this, one, I would really encourage you guys to take time and really find out what your Enneagram type is. Don't roll your eyes. When I first heard about it, I thought they were saying pentagram. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then I found it was Enneagram, so it's okay. And then as I read and researched where it came from, it's just such a beautiful history. And then the best part, when my husband took the test and I read him the results, my football playing husband just tears. And he said, I feel like someone read my diary. I mean, it was crazy. It was my husband on paper. And then it gives you so much freedom. You can just say, this is my personality type. It's so great. So I encourage you guys to do that. She reminded me when she said that. Okay, let's go to the next page. We're going to talk about when you wake up in the morning And then we're going to talk about the bottom where it says 10 science-backed habits that are proven to get you in touch with your inner wisdom, which I just call calm. When you wake up in the morning, first thing, when you wake up, what do you feel? What exactly do you feel?
I'll just say that when I wake up in the morning, sometimes, most of the time, I wake up confused, like, what day is it? What time, what do I have to do today? Like, oh my gosh, am I late? I start panicking every time when I wake up in the morning. I feel like I've got so much to do, and I don't even realize what day it is for a minute.
I can relate to that. Anybody else can relate to that? You're just like, whoa. Okay, anybody else want to share? Because I have something, I'm going to blow your mind, maybe. Maria, tell me everything.
Well, for me, I honestly have to say I wake up excited because for me, the morning time is my devotion, I guess. And that's when I do my best post. My writings come to me first thing in the morning. So I always wake up usually with a song on my heart, and that's where I just guide my thoughts. So I'm always ready to start the day.
So tell me about the night before. Since you have that experience in the morning, tell me what you do at night before bed.
The night before, I'm just, our downtime is between 8 and then I go to bed at 10. So that's really the only time that we watch TV. Usually Tony watches TV and I'm scrolling on Facebook and shopping with one of this crazy ladies that she's got me addicted to clothes. But I'm happy.
Do you have do you know your plan for the next day?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's totally a gift from God every day because my writings come to me just like that. Like sometimes I do plan if I have a picture or an idea, maybe I'll think of that. But usually it's, I'll read my devotion and something will spark from there, or I'll look at a picture and it'll just come from there. So, yeah.
So, well, you kind of are an anomaly compared to what I'm going to tell you right now. But I will say this. I'm looking this up to read it to you. You have incorporated something super important that most of us aren't doing, either because we feel uncomfortable doing it, we don't know how to do it, or we're just not making the time for it. We need to be spending time in either silence or meditation. And that is something I'm trying to find this particular graphic that had what I wanted to show you, but I don't see it. When we spend time in silence, when we spend time in meditation, whether it's listening to music, reading, something that we're specifically setting that aside 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what happens is your system slows down. In the same way, when you take breaths, and I don't mean like that kind of breath actually will increase your heart rate. Don't do that. If you focus, sorry to have to show you all this. If you focus on your diaphragm right here, okay? If you focus on literally visualizing, lowering it and raising it, literally the biggest breath you've taken all day, you go, it forces your body, like your physiological body, to actually slow down. And you have to do it. So when you sit in meditation and you're silent, sometimes it is so uncomfortable because you'll start thinking, your mind will start wandering, you'll hear a noise, you'll think, I really need to get up and do whatever. But this is of great value because when you live in a state of constant confusion, you don't have clarity. There's not a stick of active or a candida yeast killer that can help you with that. This is actually a problem because we're not slowing our systems down. And think about this, guys. We talked about it last week. All day, every day, constantly things coming at us. We're not living out in these rural farms where it takes 10 days to get one letter, or you hear about something that happened 2 months after it did. This is constant all day long. And so no wonder we're living on alert. No wonder we're living in anxiety. So your morning routine, when you wake up, I wrote that I feel weighted. I wake up and I go, oh, I literally think these are all these things that I have to get done. If you feel this way, your morning starts the night before. There should be a routine that you do every night before bed that's going to prepare you for the next morning. Now, I've started taking just a little Post-it note and I write like my top 3 things for the next day. I'm like, right before bed, I literally just go, okay, follow up with so-and-so, send so-and-so this and that and the other, make the appointment for John, my son. And I put it next to my bed. So when I wake up, I know what I have to do. Like for me, what my priorities are. You need to spend 5 minutes in silence. Don't let yourself fall asleep. Spend 5 minutes in silence. So your morning starts the night before. Let that be your mantra. My morning starts the night before. If you go to bed and you say, I'll just take care of that tomorrow, you're going to wake up rushed, weighted. You're going to wake up confused, panicked, and that is your whole day. You're going to be fighting that. Maria wakes up, she knows her routine. She knows exactly what she's going to do. And so she does it, and it brings her to this place where her body's at a calm. So I would definitely recommend that. If you're wondering, now how exactly does this help me get to San Diego? Nobody joins a confused, panicked, overwhelmed person. Nobody does. Because people want to feel better, not worse. And if you are just spiraling out of control because you don't know how to manage this, because we're doing a job that most of us have never done, like we don't really understand. I'm not a business person. We got to figure out the tools to help us stay in a healthy place. Because no matter how many products you use or how much exercise you do, if you have mind issues, it affects your body. It will make you hold on to weight. It will make you have more health issues than you could have even imagined you would have. So we got to get control over this so that we can be the very best to become the very best recruiters. All right, so let's look at the bottom of page 4.
Can I just add one thing real quick?
Yeah.
So the one thing that keeps me doing this, and it wasn't always like this, but I heard it, and I don't know who it was from, but they said the first 20 minutes of your day will determine how your day ends. So there are times when I'll wake up and I'll have, oh my gosh, I gotta do this. Oh my gosh. No, let me take my first 20 minutes and make it good because I want to have a good day. And it works. I mean, it's so important.
It's like, have you ever overslept? Like your alarm doesn't go off? That is the worst day in the history of ever. It's just ruined. Like 13, 14 hours you're awake, it's ruined because of one thing. So what Maria's saying is so valuable. And again, this is a lily pad. This is you saying, okay, my small step to make my mornings better is I'm going to, whatever. When I wake up, I'm going to make myself spend 5 minutes reading something or being quiet, not on my phone, because that is an anxiety producer. I got to a stage where if I saw my phone at all, if I literally physically saw it, it was a trigger for me to feel this like heaviness right here. I go, because it represented work and where I wasn't measuring up and where I wasn't getting things done. This represented stress to me, but now it represents excitement because I'm making priorities for taking care of myself before taking care of my business, which actually takes care of my business. Okay. 10 science-backed habits that are proven to get you in touch with your inner wisdom, which to me, that just means your calm, your clarity, your true self. If you can't feel inspired to make a post, if you can't feel excited to respond to someone, if you can't feel like showing up to a Plexus event or anything in your life, it is time to slow the freak down. Sorry if that's a bad word to somebody, but slow the freak down. You gotta. Nobody needs to be that busy. Just slow it down. Slow your mind down. No more mountains. Think small. Dream big, but think small. Okay? So let's look at these. Number 1, take a walk in the woods or get out in nature. I pressure wash. It's like the best therapy in the hit. I love it. Like I literally I'll just make up things that need to be pressure washed because it's loud. So I can't hear anybody trying to talk to me. And it's immediate gratification because it's dirty and then it's clean. The best. So if you want therapy, go buy a pressure washer. It's the best. And just literally go to your neighbor's house or whoever and be like, can I pressure wash your driveway? Like just find a way to do this. It's the best. Anybody else have something that they do to kind of get away, just shut themselves down, just really be in their own head and not distracted? Baking.
Yeah, I have 2.
What
I'm
is
a baker. I love feeding people, so that baking is like my therapy.
Okay.
it's not good calorie wise, but anyway. And the other thing I love to do is swimming. It actually drowns out a lot of the noise because you just have really your own thoughts to think of. But
I
to
love
me,
it.
it's calming.
I love it. My pastor, when I was in college, he said that whenever he would feel overwhelmed, he was like, I'm sorry I'm mentioning this from in front of everybody, but he goes, I take a bath and I force my ears under the water so I hear nothing. He's like, I just force myself. Because if you're really one of those people that noises and you're constantly like squirrel, squirrel, looking around, just like putting your head underwater, that's such a great tip. Someone else wrote that they rototill their garden, mowing the lawn with a push mower. I've done this. This is me too. Vacuuming, yes. It sounds crazy, right? You're like, part of my IPA is to vacuum for 10 minutes each day. And everyone's like, what? You're like, I got to slow my system. It's helpful. It is so helpful. All right. Because otherwise you just shelf it all and say, I cannot today. I cannot. Not today. And so that just paralyzes you. Instead, let's just do these small little steps. All right, number 2, take the 10 deep breaths. And that's what you want to, the diaphragm breathing, ugly breathing. When I meet with my coach, he's always like, take the biggest breath you've had. I said, you did not hear that. Pretend like that didn't happen. He says, take the biggest breath you've taken all day. And I feel so awkward because he's like sitting there watching me and I'm like, but it kind of gets me in that place where I feel comfortable. Okay, let's do this. All right, take a long bath. Tip for you, CBD bath bombs, life-changing. CBD bath bombs, the best. So, or Epsom salt bath, really, really relaxing. Number 4, do a detox. Now here's the tricky thing. It says do a detox from the news and social media. So that's not going to work for us if we take a detox from social media, but you can detox from scrolling. You can actually just do strategic social media, whether that means you only log into post, or maybe you set your schedule up for, I'm going to take the next 3 days and not spend time on social media, and you plan your posts. They're ready to post on their own. Whatever it is you have to do, the news, who here is all about the news every day? Who reads or watches the news every day? I don't see anybody saying they do.
I don't. Sorry.
No,
Can
do it. Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me.
Yeah, I don't. In fact, it's one of the main things that helped me because I had so much preplexes, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. As I started to get better, I shut all of that out, deleted things, unfollowed, all of that. But now we have this family chat, and they all they love that stuff. And so I'm having to silence the family chat because I'm like, I can't take it, people. You it's just so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing is good. And anyway, and when I'm in a good frame of mind, then I'm like, you guys are living in fear. Why do you want to do that? Why are you doing that to yourself? So yeah, no news. And I appreciate it because now when I open my social media, it's positive messages. And most of the time, if I'm struggling up here, God is putting the best posts on my social media ever. All the truth things that I need to hear.
It's like a little reminder that he's still there, and he's still there to bring you back from that place of fear. When you watch the news, it just gives you a whole other set of things to worry about. Oh, I never knew I needed to worry about a pothole, or oh, I never knew I need to, it gives you all new things to worry about. And some people might argue it's really good to stay up, and maybe it's you just want to stay up with the political side, but very rarely do I open up. I usually just go to Fox News, but if I go to that, it is horrendous. It's so horrendous. And I try to pretend like it's not going to affect me, but it does. And the worst part it comes into is my dreams. So what does that do to you? It affects your sleep. So what does that do to you? It affects your next day. So most of you, I'm literally so impressed. Some people are saying, no news for me. They detox from that. I purposely stay away from the news. I catch a headline here or there, or if my husband tells me what's going on. It makes you anxious. And we just have to be careful. No one's going to protect us from anxiety but ourselves. So I was talking to a girlfriend this morning. We were talking about food and how the decisions we make about food. And she was saying that she feels like if she sees like a birthday cake, okay, I'm going to have the birthday cake and I'll just start over tomorrow. I'll restrict myself tomorrow, like a punishment. And I said, well, I don't really do that. I won't let myself have any, because if I start with a bite, I don't know how to stop. Like I'm like, everyone leave the room. I'm going to eat this whole thing. Just give me a minute, you know? So everyone has to know their boundaries and make decisions according to that. I know my boundaries, and I know how I feel if I let the boundary be broken. So protect your mind and detox yourself from things that you know are purposefully anxiety producing. Just like Rebecca was saying, her family chat, maybe she'll chime in every so often, throw a picture with that face app where she's 90 years old or whatever. She'll just throw something cute in there so she stays engaged, or she might be the person that brings that positivity into that. You just don't know. Okay, number 5, spend at least 30 minutes working on a creative hobby. I wrote down, I want to help my kids make dream boards. Wouldn't that be fun for them to be able to do that and me experience seeing and learning about things that they're excited about? We did it once at New Year's, but I think I only had like 3 magazines and they just were picking stuff that happened to be in those. I just want to know for real, like what are their really big dreams? Who here has a hobby that they can do to kind of bring themselves down?
I have always used scrapbooking. So that's because like you always scrapbook all the fun times, right? You hang out with people that scrapbook the fun times. And so it helps me. It's always been my positive to my negative, because I just recently retired, but I had a really negative job, you know, where I was a union president. So I dealt with conflict and grievances and everything like all day long. So I had to have a balance, and that was my balance, the scrapbooking.
I love that. I love that you have awareness that this is what I do to help me stay in this positive state of mind. And if you think to yourself, I don't have a hobby, or maybe you think, well, Plexus is my hobby, I might be able to get behind that. But if Plexus in any way that what you're doing is creating anxiety for you, you got to find the thing that purposefully, your parasympathetic nervous system, that's what actually relaxes you. You can engage that when you do a hobby that causes you. Maria's holding up the hemp hooray post-it. She's like, I just take CBD to help with my relaxation. That's great. I love you for that. All right, spend time with family and friends who support you. This is a hard one because inner circle matters so much, and you don't want to eliminate people from your life, but gosh, sometimes if somebody is constantly a trigger, you don't have a choice. I don't mean never speak to them, but just put up more boundaries, put up more walls, and be proud that you know how to protect yourself, because this is the best way to do that. Picture your child having a friend that was constantly berating them or being negative or making fun of them. I've had friends in my life when I've seen them do that to my kids, and I like want to get up in there. I'm like, don't you? So if you wouldn't want what's being said to you being said to your child, you would tell your child, you know what, I don't know if we need to spend time with them anymore. Like, it's really affecting you. Do that for yourself. It's really, really important. Just like everything else I keep saying. All right. Say 5 things that you're grateful for. I write them on my mirror in lipstick because I'm a dramatic person. I just want it to be like out there, and I want my kids to walk in and be like, Mom. But showing gratitude, it's so simplistic. And you're like, I get it. I'm grateful. I woke up today. I'm on the other side of the dirt. I get it. You have to be more specific. You have to really lay it out. I'm grateful that I have legs that can walk me up and down the stairs. I mean, just really specific, and you don't realize what an effect this will have on you. I'm grateful that I have eyes that allow me to see. Whatever it is, you write it out, and it sounds like it's not going to help you, but it really does. It really does. Meditate for 10 minutes. We talked about that. Engage in exercise, and then sit in silence for 15 minutes. Have you guys ever done this? Hold on. I'm going to try to find one I can put on for you to hear. It takes me just a second. Oh, I hate when a video has like a survey. Okay, good. It stopped. Do you hear anything? Do you hear it? This drives my husband nuts. actually bothering me too. It's called ASMR. There's 1,000 YouTube videos, and some of them are just people like crinkling things or like brushing something or just whispering. But oddly enough, it's a weird relaxation technique. So if in any way you have trouble sitting in silence because your mind's like going everywhere, go and put on an ASMR YouTube video, and suddenly you're just like, just like, it's so relaxing. It's weird. All right, I know we're taking so much time on that front end of this, but we still have 18 minutes, so let's keep going. Go to page 5. State your dream here proudly and in detail. It's so hard for so many people to state their dream. Usually they'll start their dream statement with, don't laugh, or I know this sounds stupid, or this is silly. Well, you've primed the person you're telling to believe it's stupid or believe it's something laughable. You don't do that. And you've primed yourself. You've negated the power of the dream that you have. So I want to hear from 3 people that haven't spoken yet. And if you don't volunteer, I'll just choose you. And then you'll never come back to this book study because you'll be like, you just violated my boundaries. All right. So I want to hear, what's your dream? And it says, if you don't know what your dream is yet, write down one thing that you would love to have in your life. Okay? Go ahead, do it scared. Even if you pee your pants, unmute yourself and tell me your whatever one dream. Vanessa, I think you unmuted. Is that right? Or was that an accident? I was getting real excited. She's like, nope, mute. All right.
I'll share.
Yay, thank you, Hannah.
Okay, so I kind of have a 2-in-1 dream, I guess, in a sense. My husband works for a Christian college, but because of that, he's like on extreme overtime. So it'd be kind of nice if he could just cut back his hours without it affecting our income, obviously. But probably my bigger goal is I'm a guardian ad litem, and I would like to open maybe a Baptist children's home or an orphanage of some sort in the United States. So kind of like a mission field here.
Mm-hmm. Bring it home. Oh,
yeah.
So good. Okay, so if your dream is to have some type of home for children, what Mel does is break it down, because that's a big thing. You're like, I don't even know where I get a house. I don't know what the legality is. I don't know how many kids I could have. What qualifications do I need to have? That's so big. But what she'd have you do is break it down into the smallest steps. So maybe it would be finding a home somewhere near you, calling and saying, how did you guys get started? And that's your first little step. And maybe that's just 1 month. That's all you did is find out. And breaking it down into smaller steps, which I love your dream. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So whenever, I'm going to tell you this, Jessica Heffley we had breakfast together, and she's sitting next to me, and she says, so tell me, what is your end goal? What's your big dream right now? And it literally stopped me in my tracks, because I realized I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what my big dream is right now. So that's something I've been really thinking about. And for me, I think it's not a thing, something you can measure. I want peace. I just want peace, 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 peace. Peace in my heart. Peace in my heart. Peace in my heart. Anybody else? 2 more people. What's your dream?
All right, I'll stick my neck out here.
Love it, Roseanne. You're the best.
So this probably isn't a dream long term, once I reach Diamond, but we need a new house, and always having to choose between what you're going to buy. I'm so sick of it. And that's really what's driving me right now. My daughter turned 18 yesterday, and I haven't bought her anything yet. So anyway, the dream of just being able to do the things that are important for the family and building a new house. I realize that's very material, but that's just where I'm at right now.
It's not. It's choices. That's a freedom to have choices.
Mm-hmm.
What you're given or what you have, I think it's so important too because, by the way, thank you for sharing. For the longest time, I wore clothes that my mom gave me as hand-me-downs. Like the first, I don't know, 10 years we were married. Just whatever she didn't want to wear anymore. I'd gotten to be the same size as her. I just wore all those clothes. When I lost weight, when we had more money and I was buying clothes that I enjoyed and I wanted to wear, my husband said, that doesn't look like your style. And I'm like, you don't know my style. I never had a choice. I just wore whatever I had. And so having choices is actually a self-expression. It actually makes you feel like you're creating an identity. I think that's a great dream, and it's going to take a lot of work to break that down into bite-sized pieces, but you could do it. And I'm going to read, instead of asking one more person to speak, I'm just going to read a couple of things that people have said. One person said that they want to do RV road schooling with their family, which is so much fun. It makes me think of Bridget Ryan. Let me look. Being out of debt, and that is a dream. But yeah, I guess so. It's something you would love to have in your life, and to have no debt would be awesome. Being able to choose is what I'm craving right now. Travel and missionaries, or being a missionary, helping your older kids with college. So we all have these dreams, and what we do is we diminish the dream, and it says, maybe you don't celebrate the small wins, which is such a downer. If somebody today at the gym, this lady saw me and she goes, I'm just so proud of you because I am doing a harder class than I've ever done. And instead of saying thank you, I was like, well, I'm about to throw up. And I regretted that because I need to celebrate the small win. Like, I didn't throw up. I stayed the whole time. I didn't say any bad words. And I should be really proud of myself. So celebrate your small wins. Maybe you don't ask for help because you think you should do it all by yourself, which you just can't do in this business. The more you ask people for help, the better you do because you're empowering other people. Do you not share your dreams? Maybe you haven't even stopped to think about it. Do you procrastinate when it comes time to take action? And procrastination is not a real thing. It's not a personality trait. You think that's your personality. It's not. It's actually fear, and that's how it shows up. And you have to, couple things. When you procrastinate, you have to have someone hold you accountable, 1. Number 2, break it into small bite-sized pieces. And 3, have mindfulness. Ask yourself, why am I putting this off? And really have a conversation with yourself. Why am I keep putting this off? And work through it. Mindfulness and awareness are so important. I keep saying everything's important. And then don't say, don't laugh. Okay, so let's look at the if-then. Moving on. And this was interesting. Did you read this? That when people do if-then plans, it increases their success from 39% to 91%. What this means is, I'm just going to make it simple. Think of your kids are going outside to play. If you see a snake, I will jump back. If you see a mosquito, I will put on bug spray. It's just like preparing yourself for what happens, and usually it's the inevitable. What are you going to do? Don't be caught with your, I almost said don't be caught with your pants down. I don't know what that saying means. Is that a normal saying? Is that a bad saying? Like, what does it even mean? I don't know. Okay, so don't be caught unprepared. So then, so let me look at these. I'm going to read 2 of them, then you guys are going to read me yours. Her example was, if I know my mother will make me feel bad about my dreams, then I'll protect myself by limiting our phone conversations to 10 minutes. One I wrote is, if I feel overwhelmed, then I will give myself a purposeful timeout. If I start to feel that, I'm going to give myself a timeout. I know that every time. That's what I'm going to do. It might be music. It might be the breathing. It might be the whatever that ASMR stuff was. I need 3 people each share one if-then statement that they wrote down. I can actually look at you guys and know which one of you is thinking about it. You're like, I can't believe I'm about to do this.
Okay, I will speak up. I had to actually use it this week a little bit because Monday, for whatever reason, I suddenly was hit with anxiety and overwhelm. And because I kind of overcommitted, which is a skill that I seem to have. But because I like at the beginning of this month, I'm like, I'm doing one thing. And then by the second week, I had 10 things. And so, so Monday I was feeling lots of anxiety. So I had to use this, okay, stop, breathe, feel where I'm at, ground my feet. I had to go step outside in the grass in bare feet, get myself grounded. That was my first then, because when my brain starts buzzing, that helps me. And then the second then, because I added a second then, was to brain dump. So if I'm feeling anxious, I need to go ground myself and brain dump. And when I did that, it was like, okay, I can see my priorities. I can see what I need to do, and I can give myself compassion, Preston, and I can like let some things go, or I can do some things not perfectly, or some things maybe 25% of my ability because this thing really is my focus, or whatever. I was permission carding myself all over the place. So that was one of my if-thens.
You know what you do perfectly? Your hair. Her hair is freaking gorgeous. Does anybody else see her? She's got the best hair ever. Okay, she was talking about grounding. If you are sitting in your chair and you plant your feet on the ground purposefully, and you literally start at your feet and think, my feet, my legs, my body, it's just awareness. She goes outside in the grass and grounds herself. It's just kind of like a reset button. You know when your computer's acting wonky and you just turn it off and turn it back on? Turn yourself off and then turn yourself back on. Okay, so if-then statements. That was so good, Krista. I love that. Grounding yourself, showing yourself compassion. She was aware it was anxiety. Like sometimes people don't know it's anxiety. They think they're having a heart attack. They think maybe they took something they shouldn't have. They don't realize, oh my gosh, this is anxiety. Anxiety will cause disease. I feel scared saying that. I don't know why. Anxiety will cause disease. It just will, okay? If you're struggling with anxiety, there is medication, but there are also choices that you can make. And it all comes from understanding, recognizing it. If they have a certain thought, like the brain dump that Krista was talking about, if I have this thought that I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Like I have all this stuff going on. The brain dump, so easy. It's you sitting down and writing every single thing that comes to mind that you have to get done. Everything, including maybe brush your teeth. Like I haven't brushed my teeth today or whatever. I have, by the way. You're writing every single thing out, and it is the strangest sensation. Once you're finished, it's like your brain's like, thank God I don't have to carry that around anymore. Like it's on paper. Okay, we're good. And you just feel relaxed. It's awesome. Mel Robbins has a brain dump video, super short. Go watch it. It's so easy, but it's so important. Again, everything's so important. All right, we have 6 minutes. Okay, so when Dan was talking about moving the bricks forward, one of the things is he was terrified that at some point, maybe when his daughter walked down the aisle, and she was little, she's little now, he's like, what if I'm still a PE teacher? Like he was living in fear for the future. And Mel would say, slow down. Like we're not talking about then. We're talking about right now. This is what we need to deal with today, in the now. So yes, it's nice to picture yourself 10 years from now. It's nice to picture yourself a year from now, but that doesn't help you get there. Visualization's helpful, but it's the small lily pads that we were talking about. So I want to skip. Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and do page 9, keeping a did it list. I named mine the nailed it list. Nailed it. So everything. You know what I hate doing more than anything is taking the clothes that I folded and putting them away. I hate it with a passion. I'll fold them all day long, but I just want them to stay in baskets. Can't they just forget having a dresser? So if I can get them put away, I'm going to write down, put the clothes away. Nailed it. Like it feels good to know that you've had personal accomplishments. So whatever it is that you do each day, keep a nailed it list. Keep it. What if it were a journal? My coach said to me, I want you to find any time you've ever gotten a message that was uplifting or kind about you. And I want you to screenshot them all and put them in a folder in your phone. So when you have that time where you're thinking, I am terrible at this, or I'm messing up, or I'm failing, go look at those messages. They will encourage you so much. So same thing, if you keep a nailed it diary or a journal or a piece of paper, it's just a reminder that you really are doing things. You really are moving the needle forward. If you can say, I messaged Melissa, I followed up with so-and-so, and I sent a sample, you did it. You actually did what diamonds do. That's it. Just moving that needle forward. Because things, you can't plant something and it come back void. You just can't. You slowly and patiently wait for the harvest to come, because you're just moving that needle forward. So make sure you guys did that and talked about or answered the questions about the nailed it. All right, 3 more minutes. Aha! Okay, final, let's end it on this. Page 10. Mind blown. Who here has said, that is not my passion? Or my passion is, we use that word passion a lot. Passion, passion, passion. So it might be like, my passion is scrapbooking, like Jill said. My passion is working with kids. My passion is, and you're basically attributing your inner passion to some extrinsic thing, something outside of you that you truly have no control over. So if you say, my passion is working with kids, and you happen to have a day where the kids were horrendous, and you're like, maybe I don't have a passion, like you're annoyed. Passion is not outside of you. Passion is actually inside of you. There are going to be so many things in the world that are going to light that fire in you. That's just an inner burning passion. Just picture it, literally, that little emoji fire. Picture that's like right in here, and it will burn bright based upon different things that you do. But it's because of you having a passion, just showing up for life, just showing up for life. So what she says is passion is about the pursuit, not the end game. It's about living life. Literally, I always think of it as that carpe diem, seize the day, just full on, all out, living life, not playing small, living big. And passion is a burning emoji in your chest, not necessarily a thing outside of you. You love baking, but that's not passion. The passion is here. When I bake, that passion burns bright. My passion, I'm a passionate person. And whatever I'm doing, it makes that passion burn bright. Does everybody understand that? It helps you to not be so dependent, because if for some reason, God forbid, you have arthritis and no longer can scrapbook, would that mean that you no longer have a passion? No, you have passion. It's just not outside of you. So what would you do for free? One person answer that, and then we'll hang it up, and next week we'll move on. I think it's Heather. And by the way, I'm sorry she says the F word sometimes in this book. I don't know how to change that. Did anybody else go, ooh? Like you're like, I hope the kids didn't hear that. What would you do for free? Page 10, third question down. Anybody that hasn't spoken yet? I always know who it's going to be. I can see it by their faces. Unmute yourself, face your fear. It's going to be okay. Do it. What would you do for free? Even if you didn't get paid.
Okay, I just help people. I help people. If somebody wants to talk to me or they need something, I would do that for free all day long.
You would be there for somebody and encourage them. You would do it all day long, which is basically part of the job description for being an ambassador. And it can be draining, but usually it's life-giving. I heard one other person that wanted to share, and I love you both for it. Joanna.
Okay. Share my faith. I would talk about the Lord all day, all night. Yeah.
Be kind of weird if you did charge for that, wouldn't it? No, I'm just being silly. But yeah, there are things that you guys are willing to do for free, and that's what you should be spending the most time doing. If you have something you would do for free, then that probably means it energizes you. It gives you life. It's exciting. And so as you work through your day, you wake up, and this is how we'll end. Pick the things that drain you to do when your mind is the strongest, when your mind is the clearest. The things that are harder for you to do, don't keep putting them off. I don't want to do that yet. I'll do it later. It's not fun. Get those done when your mind is the freshest. So maybe you're a morning person, get her done. And then you can spend the rest of the day energizing yourself with things that you would do for free. And you can feel happy. Happier people are more successful. They attract more people to them. It's just a fact. So work really hard this week to stay energized, to light your passion that lives inside of you, not outside of you, and work through that. I think it's an hour with Heather. And again, if you don't get through all of it, it's okay. If you don't get through all the workbook, it's okay. We're all working. We're all fellow journeyers, as Jessica Heffley says, and trying to become the best we can become. I actually get excited growing as a person because it's fun to discover and to learn and to grow. And if you guys feel the same way, then let's do it together. Let's be committed and let's be excited for the future. So get rid of the mountain, develop lily pads, think small, dream big, and I don't know what else. Take CBD. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.